Okay, fifth graders, so we're going to read an article about changing shadows, and we're going to kind of observe how shadows change and get a little bit more information about shadows from this article. Okay?
Changing shadows. Objects you can't see through, such as people, birds, buildings, balls, and flagpoles, have shadows on sunny days. That's because opaque objects block sunlight. A shadow is the dark area behind an opaque object. Shadows give information about the position of the sun. If you see your shadow in front of you, then the sun is behind you. Did you know that a shadow tells you what time of day it is? Let's see how that works. First, if you are in North America, you need to be facing south. When you are facing south, north is behind you.
Here's a video. It's just of a kid swinging, so you can kind of see their shadow moving around. Okay, so
it is 12 o'clock noon. Let's look at the flagpole and observe its shadow. What direction is the shadow pointing? What does the flagpole's shadow look like at 9 o'clock in the morning? Did you see your shadow this morning? Do you remember what direction it was pointing? Do you remember how long it was?
okay, so here's this one, and if you look, north, south, east, west.
The shadow is pointing straight north, which is toward you, and it is short. When a shadow points north, the time is about 12 o'clock noon. Shadow at noon. This diagram shows the flagpole at 9 o'clock in the morning. The flagpole casts a longer shadow, and the shadow points west. But the shadow doesn't point straight west. It points a little north, too. The direction between north and west is called northwest. Shadow at 9 o'clock a.m.
So you can look, here's the shadow at noon, and here's the shadow at 9 a.m. So you can see it's longer, and it's facing a little bit of a different direction. Let's go to the next one.
What happens to the shadow in the afternoon? What happens to the shadow in the afternoon? Two things happen to a shadow between sunrise and sunset. Its length changes and its direction changes. Early in the morning, a shadow is long and it points west. We observe that the sun moves across the sky from east to west, and the shadow changes. At noon, the sun reaches its highest point in the sky. Now the shadow is as short as it will get. It points straight north. We observe that the sun keeps moving across the sky. Just before sunset, a shadow is very long, and it points east. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the shadow is getting long again. It is pointing northeast. The sun has moved across the sky and looks low in the west. In a few more hours, the sun will set in the west. Shadow at 3 o'clock p.m. See how the shadows can work like a clock? Here is a diagram of several shadows and their times. All you need is a pole in the ground and a sunny day. 3 o'clock p.m. 1:30 p.m. Noon. 10:30 a.m. 9 o'clock a.m. 7 o'clock a.m. The sun and seasons. Shadows can tell us even more about the movement of the sun. We know the sun moves across the sky from east to west every day. But did you know that the sun also changes position in the sky from season to season? Here's how you can observe it. Imagine you are looking at the flagpole on your school grounds again. But this time, you are standing on the east side of the pole and facing west. North is to your right, and south is to your left. For this experiment, you have to measure the shadow at noon only, but you have to measure it every day for 1 year. Here are the noon shadows for just 5 times during the year. Look at the length of the shadow and the position of the sun in the sky on each date. On June 21st, the first day of summer, the sun is high in the sky at noon. 3 months later, on September 21st, the first day of fall, the sun is lower. And on December 21st, the first day of winter, the sun is at its lowest noon position. After December 21st, the sun begins to climb higher in the sky again. On March 21st, the first day of spring, it is as high as it was in September. 1 year after starting the experiment, on June 21st, the sun is again at its highest noon position.
So you can look down here. Here's a whole bunch of different months and how the shadow looks.
June 21st, September 21st, December 21st, March 21st, June 21st.
So you can see the length of the shadow on each of these. So it changes throughout the year as well. So let's look at this one. Last page. And sorry for the barking and the talking. I have people here and a dog.
The sun's change of position in the sky minute by minute during a day is predictable. The sun's position in the sky season to season during a year is also predictable.
Okay, so we're not going to worry about those questions. And then I will put on here what activities you can do after you've gone through the investigation. All right, bye.